I'm very happy. Okay, thank you. So I'm Richard Fellner. I'm the CEO of Nowcast. I'm extremely happy to be here and spend the next 3 days together with all of you and to be in this very, very nice location. So I'm the CEO of Nowcast. Nowcast, we are spending all our effort on thunderstorms and lightning. This is all what we are doing. So we are doing a lot of research projects around lightning, about atmospheric electricity. We are develop our own sensors. We run several networks all over Europe, US, Australia. We run a global network where we cover the whole globe without any gaps. Of course, not with the same quality as a local network, but the whole globe, including the oceans, is covered. And we sell networks. We sell networks all around the world. We sell networks to Latin America, like Colombia, Peru. In Asia, Malaysia, we have sold even 2 networks to South Korea, for instance, as the Meteorological Service has a network and the Air Force has decided we would like to have our own network. And then I didn't say no, of course. In Africa, we just finished or got acceptance in Tanzania. Before we built up Malawi, we have a partner network in South Africa, so active all over the world. And now the topic is early warning. Early warning for everybody. This is what we heard in the morning. And in my point of view, lightning information about the thunderstorm situation is a fundamental cornerstone for each and every early warning solution. Why is it? I think everybody agrees that thunderstorms, lightning strikes, are causing a lot of troubles, can ruin your day. According to the WMO, disasters related to severe weather are unfortunately causing 40,000 people dying every year. Out of the 40,000, around 24,000, 25,000 are hit directly by a lightning strike. But as a matter of fact, in general, the majority of the severe weather events is coming together with thunderstorm, with lightning strikes. To see it the other way around, if you know the situation of the thunderstorms, the severity of the thunderstorm, the movement of the thunderstorm, then you have an overview of the severe weather situation in the country. As with the lightning detection network, it's relatively easy to cover the complete country, and then in real time, you see what's going on. Of course, the early warning to protect the people is a very important topic. This is saving life. But what I always feel is a bit underestimated. The value lightning information can bring to the private sector, or in general, to the industries in the country, for instance, to the transportation industry. Thunderstorms create a lot of trouble. Let's take the aviation. The air traffic control needs to make sure not to run the approach directly through the thunderstorm. In average, according to WMO statistics, every plane is hit once a year by a lightning strike. It's not falling from heaven, but you need to bring it into inspection. You need to take it out of service. The airport, according to ICAO, the International Aviation Authority, regulates that if there is lightning in a 3 nautical mile area, they have to stop operation. The better you know about what is exactly happening within the 3 nautical miles. When you get already a pre-warning with an estimated time of arrival, so that somebody is telling the airport, hey, watch out, in 42 minutes from now, this thunderstorm will reach the area, and then now it's in the 3 nautical miles, the better you can plan for it. Between 30 and 50% of the power line outages are caused by lightning strikes. So an electricity company needs to know what's going on, what is the reason for the power outage. So therefore, just to mention an example, energy company in Malaysia, the weather service was not able to provide this information. They invested into an own lightning detection network, as the information is so important for them, so valuable, that they invested significant money to have a known network. And there are many other industries, telecommunication companies are a bit similar like the electricity companies. It's the golf clubs, NNN. So many areas in a country are disturbed by thunderstorms and would benefit if they get highly precise information. And we said there are this huge amount of troubles caused by thunderstorms. I think technology can help to somehow mitigate this risk. It's again a WMO statistics where they were saying in the last 50 years, the impact due to the severe weather events was dramatically increasing, but luckily the number of people being killed by these events was decreasing, and this is to some extent due to information, due to technology. If the people get some early warnings, if they get the information to leave open terrain, then this helps to protect lives. It helps also to protect assets and also the harvest, the food. I know from several countries where they have big fields, it's a big task to bring out the fertilizer. In some countries, they even use planes to spray the fields. If you do this, and this is a lot of money to use the plane to spray the field, and 30 minutes later there is a thunderstorm, the money is basically thrown out of the window as it's immediately washed away. If you know there is a thunderstorm coming, you will not fly now or do it now. So this technology, it helps to protect life, save money, and also protect harvest and food. What you need for this is reliable data, which are always available, which are real time, so that you see this situation immediately. Sometimes also historical data, so that you can think twice when you build a high voltage power line. Is this the right area in the country, or would it from a historical view be more beneficial to move it 10 kilometers away, as there are traditional hotspot areas for the lightning strikes, for the storms. And as I said before, I feel this is when talking to meteorological services, often underestimated this source of revenue. As what I said before, if an international airport is saving time, and there is a lot of statistics, and I can show you in individual discussions, depending on the quality of the lightning data, you can significantly reduce the time for the airport closure with the same statistical risk that another lightning strike will hit the apron. So this is around between a 1 kilometer accuracy and 100 meters, it's around 20 minutes, what you save in airport closure. And now you can imagine how much money this is for an airport. Either you say it depends on the local regulatory situation, if you can ask them for money, or if it's your benefit that you have the private sector or the infrastructure sector there. So it is a lot of value. It's a lot of value for the telecommunication companies. It's a lot of value for the mines. Mines have a large outdoor operation. They need to protect the people. In addition to that, the mines usually have explosive material outside, at least for some point in time when they plan the next action. And if there is a thunderstorm approaching, it's not a good idea to have explosive material outside. We have enough accidents with this all around the world, and therefore most of the mines are using lightning information. This is a chance for a weather service to help them. In Colombia, where we have a network, almost 100% of the mines are using our data to avoid this situation. So this can be a source for revenue, and this can help the funding for the data, which then also are a very beneficial input into any early warning systems for the whole public in the country. My last slide, as I was following the instructions very carefully, what is important from my point of view? What do we focus on? What do we say we need to bring to our customers? Yeah, we spoke about it's relatively easy with a lightning detection network to cover the full country. Maybe if you have a country with a large desert area or forest areas, We do not need to have the same 100-meter accuracy each and everywhere. We need to sit together and do the planning to say what quality do you want to have. But as a result, you will have a full comprehensive overview of the thunderstorm situation in the whole country. You will see where the thunderstorm is moving to. You get warnings up to 60 minutes before the thunderstorm is reaching a certain point, which is important for you. It's about sensitivity. With our system, you can be sure there is no lightning strike being missed. Also the weak ones within the clouds. It's about quality. I spoke about it. It results in a much shorter interruption of any operations of airports, for instance, or electricity companies. From a technology point of view, to set up such a network is relatively easy. This is not rocket science. We usually do it with a local partner, or the Met service is doing it by themselves. It's easy to be set up. It's basically maintenance free. From a nowcast point of view, we are proud that so far we never ever have forced a customer to exchange sensors. We are since 20 years.
Ja, ik zo die presentatie en dus ik zag net je appje. Dus ik zit er al in Zoom.
And the first sensors what we have sold are still out in the field of working and are fully compatible with the latest generation of sensors. So we never ask the customer to do a forklift upgrade and throw work away. It's still working. There is no regular maintenance or updates, checks, so can be done.
Duim maar voor me.
The point when it's about the setup, which is for me important, is we are a small company. And as such, we are very flexible in a business model. There is such a wide range of traditional selling to the weather service with maybe international funding from World Bank, UNDP or so on, up to public-private partnership models where we run the network together with a local partner, where we sell with the local partner to the private sector and we sell it also to the public sector, or we form any other private partnership model where the weather service owns the network but gets it for a lower price, as we still can sell the data with a private partner on our own. So whether this is 100% owned by the Met service or it's owned by us, there is many possibilities in between. And as a very small company, we are very flexible and we have already executed different type of models. So I'm prepared to discuss with you what would be best, what would help most to get such a network into your country, financially viable for both sides. Yeah, and from the operation, I mean, I mentioned the points. We distinguished between what is happening in the clouds and cloud to ground. For the lightning strikes in the clouds, we even report the altitude, saying the lightning strike was in an altitude of 8 kilometers. Why does it matter? Of course, an air traffic control organization is interested in this. But you can derive a lot of information about the severity of the thunderstorm and about the risk for severe weather events like very heavy precipitation, hail. For instance, hail warnings are generated out of this, as there are some criteria. If there is an immediate jump in the altitude of the intercloud lightning strikes and the density IC versus CG, you can derive this information, and it works pretty nicely. For instance, to have lightning, hail warnings generated. So, following the guidance, 3 sites, 10 minutes. That's basically it. I mean, it's difficult to transfer the main messages in 10 minutes. I have my stand there. Remember my face, my haircut. You will find me. Let's discuss one-on-one in more details. I also could do a 2-hour presentation, but let's discuss your situation, how we could set up such a model, or also better understand, for instance, these calculations, what I mentioned for an airport, how quality and airport closure time works together. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. Appreciated it. Sticking to the time and the 3 slides. You do. So next up is Clemencia Ongaki from Vaisala. So she's going to speak next, and basically, please go and see Richard throughout the next couple of days. He'll be around and ready to chat.
Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clemencia Ongaki from Vaisala. Vaisala is a global company, more than 90 years old, with a specialty of weather observation solutions. Vaisala has got solutions based on our planet Earth.
Ga maar fietsen, pikken, want het loopt uit. Want die Vaisala mensen is net begonnen met haar
They are so
presentatie.
resilient
denk dat
and they are so robust
aan de beurt ben.
that NASA is using Vaisala equipment in the exploration of Mars. Vaisala has got a range of
Ja, en ik weet niet hoe lang dit gaat duren.
Today I have got 10 minutes. I'm not able
Ik
to
zal
go
niet op
into
mij
all
wachten.
those
Als ik
details.
klaar ben, zal ik
But when you think about weather radars,
vanmiddag
when
wel.
them at Vaisala,
Mag niet op
when you
mij.
think about sounding stations and solutions, they're at
Daar.
Vaisala. When you think about lightning detection network systems support, they're at Vaisala. When you think about automatic weather stations, they're at Vaisala. The list is long. Please look at vaisala.com, and we are also at the booth. So let's get back to the business of today. Today we talk about the weather resilience for all. And thank you, Dr. Kijazi and the other speakers before, because they have painted a picture of where we are today from WMO and from also the nationals, especially from Mozambique. We saw your presentation. I have taken just a sneak preview from WMO. What does GBON, what GBON is, which is the Global Basic Observation Network, which is a network of 1,000 surface and upper air sounding solutions. All these weather observation equipment provide meteorological data to WMO, and WMO is then able to do its prediction and climate data analysis. All this data comes from 193 countries who are under WMO. How is the situation today? The picture which is on your right is not the most current, is from 2023, but I think a picture tells us more than what we can see. The colors where you see it's green, there is data coming from those countries, and you can also see the intensity. In some colors, you can see black. This is where there's either limited data or there's no data at all. And we have heard that WMO has put a lot of intervention, strategic intervention, action plan 2023-2027, and many others that they are doing, so that they can address these gaps which are missing. But what we're saying today is that even as we are addressing the gaps, we need to address them in a very sustainable way. It's up to 2027, but then we still need this data even after 2027. As we think about addressing the black dots that we saw before, technically speaking, we need to think about how then can we get reliable data? It's not just about data. Data could be numbers, but it has to be reliable. How then can we have an efficient network in terms of the operation and the maintenance? Then we also have to think about our Mother Earth, our nature. We need to think about the environment. How then can we address in a very sustainable way environmentally? I have a few points to discuss. When we think about reliable data, we think about the accuracy, the consistency. So we need to have, from one observation to another, it has to be consistent, it has to be accurate, and it has to be reliable. We need to reduce the human errors, meaning that we need to automate those processes. We need to automate those that we can, if possibly, could be done. Some sensors have got built-in check mechanism. Let us use them as much as possible. And also with the innovation, let us also have built-in kind of processes within our system. Again, equipment needs to be very easy to use so that no additional human errors needs to be added into the operations. What about the operation and maintenance? Because I think this is where we have got a big gap. I heard from Dr. Kajazi that yes, we do have already installed equipment, but we do not have data which is coming from this equipment, or if it is coming, it's coming at different intervals. The solution is quite simple. Have a network manager. From a central place, you are able to see your network. You are able to see each and every equipment. What is the status? How is it working? Then it is easier to also have an intervention. Most of the sensors nowadays, you can access from the web UI. You don't necessarily have to go to the remote site where this equipment is installed. You can access it from your computer, see the status. Some of the errors, you are able to correct them from that far. And by the time you're sending a technician, you already know what the issue is, and probably the technician will go there with a spare or the tools that he needs to be able to do this kind of intervention. For the GBON, the sounding system, the sounding stations, it is possible to automate the sounding stations such that there is no human that needs to go there, even in the remote station, to go and fill the gas, release it. You just need to automate it, program it, and at the right time you have programmed it, then it can really release the balloons to the air, and it is able to also get the data which is coming from the radio sounds. We also have to think about reducing the footprint of the equipment that we use, including gas saving, especially for the ultrasons or the sounding system, as we say. So it is important that even as we are addressing these gaps, let us look at the ease of use of the equipment. I repeat ease of use because this is quite important. We've heard about technicians not enough for the organizations. So it should be so easy that the technician can do it, for force. He can do more work in an easy way. What is Vaisala offering for the GBON? And this is where we need to discuss about the automatic weather stations. Vaisala has got AWS 810, that is our acronym. And most of the sensors that go to these automatic weather stations are manufactured by Vaisala. It means that we are able to control the quality. It means that we are able to see end to end, and we give you a solution which is tested and you can get it from one particular manufacturer. Our automatic weather stations have got an enhanced processing power that it can give you data almost at real time. Our automatic weather stations uses low power. We understand that in our countries in Africa, we do not have power at all times, at all places. And even in cases, these automatic weather stations are installed in very remote areas. Sometimes you're not able to reach there all the time. So it uses 100% solar to power its sensors. Again, it has got built-in security. I said before that you can access it from a remote place. So it means we have to secure it from any cyber attack and all that. So it has got its own inbuilt security. I talked about remote maintenance capabilities, and our automatic weather station has also got this. I want to say that continuous software security updates is quite important. Even Microsoft today, after every 3 years, they have to upgrade. And we want to ensure that our automatic weather stations is able to be integrated in a network to ensure that it is current, to ensure that it is possible for you to get this weather data from our automatic weather station. Let's look at, oh, I need to wrap up. Oh my God.
Sorry.
All right, I need to be quite fast, but then let us look at another equipment for GBON, which is the sounding station. We've talked about it. We have got an automatic one and also a manual one. They are working in very remote places and not in the best of their conditions, but yet they are able to get this data which is coming from the radio songs. When Vaisala supplies equipment to you, they don't leave you alone. They train your engineers to ensure that you are able to operate, to ensure that you are able to do even the minimum maintenance. Our equipment needs very minimum maintenance, cleaning and all that. So we ensure that your team are able to handle well the equipment so that it can give you the return of your investment. So then why do you have to come to Vaisala? Vaisala is a one-stop shop. You'll get all your equipment from Vaisala, especially for the GBON, the automatic weather stations, the upper stations, the radio songs. You can get them from Vaisala. We train you, and also we are an industry-leading company. Because of the timing, I'm available for questions, and also we are at the booth. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Clemencia, and sorry to rush you towards the end there. So our next presenter is Neil Durham from Wagtech, and his presentation is Wagtech Projects. Thank you.
Yeah. It will be. No, it's okay. I've just got them.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Neil Durham from Wagtech Projects in the UK. So I'm going to give a very brief presentation for 10 minutes of our products and services and our track record around Africa, particularly within sub-Saharan Africa and the SADC region. So we're specialist manufacturers of environmental analysis equipment and also turnkey suppliers of automatic weather stations for the meteo sector and early warning systems for the hydromet sector. Based in the UK, we have our regional office, or our head office rather, in a town called Thatcham, which is near Reading. Many of you will know Reading University being a centre of excellence for meteo, and we're about 58 minutes by train from London, so anytime you're in the UK, you'll be most welcome. We have a global distribution network. As manufacturers of water quality testing equipment and sensors, we are very much global, serving countries throughout Latin America, the Middle East, Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Far East. We actually have our own offices within particularly the SADC region, with WagtechAFRICA based out of Nairobi, Wagtech Zambia in Lusaka, Wagtech Uganda in Kampala, Wagtech Malawi in Lilongwe, Wagtech Ghana in Accra, Wagtech Tanzania in Dar es Salaam, and Wagtech Rwanda in Kigali. So you'll see from that that we are very much an African country with expertise from the UK. And the types of business we do is very, very flexible. We operate and bid for international tenders. We also, through our local offices, are able to compete in national competitive bidding with local payment terms and the acceptance of, in most cases, local currencies. We respond to RFQs. We have LTAs with many UN agencies and NGOs. The most relevant to here would probably be UNDP. So we're holding a long-term arrangement with the UNDP out of Copenhagen for many, many projects throughout Africa. In addition to our local Wagtech companies, where we don't have companies in country, we have agents and distributors, and we often get involved in consulting services as well through pre-negotiation. This slide here is very, very relevant to not only you as end users, but also to some of the manufacturers who are here at the conference. We are also a broker for international finance, and we act as a broker for a number of ECAs, but particularly in the case of UK export finance. This is basically money from the UK, which we can get allocated to projects in qualifying countries under qualifying sectors. So typically that for us would be in water and hydromet, and we're currently under negotiations with the UK government for a project in Tanzania under the Ministry of Water for it's over about £200 million. So we are brokering this we're acting as the broker between the UK government, the UK Treasury, and the Ministry of Finance in Tanzania. And of importance here, the project will not only include water quality sensors, but very many early warning systems. So if there are any of the manufacturers here who would like to discuss about being included in this very, very exciting turnkey project that Wagtech will be leading as the project prime contractor, do talk to me. So automatic weather stations are very, very much within our area of expertise. And a typical snapshot of a project was the Southern African Development Community, SADC, 10 Southern African countries listed above: Botswana, Malawi, Mozambique, South Africa, Tanzania, Zim, Seychelles, Comoros, Madagascar, and Mauritius. So we supplied 10 countries, over 40 automatic weather stations, including installation, commissioning, and training. We've also, going from the SADC into West Africa, supplied the WASCAL, which is the West African Science Service Centre for Climate Change and Adaptive Land Use. And here, this was 10 different countries again, but for Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, the Gambia, Ghana, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, and Togo. And again, we not only were the successful bidder of this project as the lowest price technically compliant bidder, but we also did all of the installation, commissioning, and training. And we have service contracts with many of these countries to ensure that the equipment is maintained and well serviced. Another area of specialism are sea buoys or lake buoys. The picture there is one of 2 lake buoys that we've supplied to Lake Malawi, or under to the DCCMS in Malawi under UNDP funding. Since that installation, we've supplied sea buoys to the government of Benin, to Equatorial Guinea, to 2 units to the TMA and TASAC in Tanzania, and only yesterday we got a new order for 2 units for the Ports Authority in Djibouti. So our solution is not only the supply of the sea buoys, but of the installation, commissioning, and training, with all the local support services for onward maintenance and training. Richard Fellner from Nowcast, a couple of presentations ago, mentioned LDSs. So we partner up with particularly Nowcast in Germany for the supply of lightning detection systems, and we've had a very, very successful project in Malawi with the DCCMS, and more recently in Tanzania with the Tanzanian Meteo Agency. So not only do we do the pre-site surveys to ensure that the equipment is well specified and compliant with the needs of the local operators, but we also then come and do the installation, commissioning, and training. Hydromet, this is a very, very early warning system. It's a very, very common area that we get involved in, and we've conducted and installed many, many projects under different funding. This particular one was in Burkina Faso for the supply of 16 early warning systems throughout the country. Now, not only do we do the supply of the equipment, but through our local companies, we've got the capabilities to do all of the construction and civil works. And this is just a bit of a snapshot of the Nile Basin project under the NBI Secretariat out of Uganda, where not only has equipment been supplied, but we've done all of the local construction and civil works. So in summary, Wagtech is a partner of choice where we represent many equipment brands. We're also a manufacturer, so we have the hybridization of quality compliance as a manufacturer, with also being an honest broker to you, offering many of the famous brands depending on the technicalities of the project. So we can do equipment sourcing, we get involved in the civil engineering, we do equipment installation, product training, in-country support, and after-sales service. So we're here at the exhibition room next door. So please do come and talk to us, and we'd be delighted to hear about what projects are coming up and how we can help and be of service to you. So thank you very much, ladies and gents.
So amazing timekeeping there from Neil, thank you. Okay, so we have our one remote speaker for this session, and that is Alessandra Liberto from Campbell Scientific. So we are just making sure she's with us on Zoom, and we'll begin.
Hi, Alessandra. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, Katie, I can hear you okay. Can you hear me?
You just great. I'm just getting your slides ready here. Excellent.
All right. So, well, I think you're close to lunch break now, so I will not take too much of your time. So I'll just start with our short presentation today, and it's entitled Empowering Climate Resilience. And the title is Transformative Solutions from Campbell Scientific Integrated Weather Systems. And I'm giving the presentation to you today as the Business Development Manager for Africa for Campbell Scientific. So why transformative? Well, we are in motion and on with advanced integrated solutions for observation and forecasting technology. We are involved in all relevant WMO activities for GBON and RBON developments, and we aim for long-term partnership with our customers. So the content you're seeing today, well, during the short presentation, I will provide you some more information about Campbell Scientific and our offering to you for early warning system and GBON compliant weather station networks. After this presentation, our experts are available on site for further information. Next slide, please. And I herewith provide you with a short introduction. Next slide. So the company was established in 1974 in Utah, in the USA, by two Campbell brothers. We have grown as a global company, and we have 16 offices around the world, which are, the company is owned by employees, former employees, and the Campbell family. Whatever climate, geography, and project size, small or big, we provide sustainable end-to-end solution and long-term support to ensure optimal performance of our weather observation solutions and networks. So we have a unique end-to-end system offering basically the sensors, the data loggers, the software for the station network management, remote control, data collection, warnings, and alerts dispatch, including our Flood Pro early warning system solutions. Next slide, please. Well, here you have an overview of the Campbell Scientific offices in the world at a glance. I specifically refer to the two offices we have in South Africa. And in total, we employ around 800 dedicated people who all care for environment and climate. Next slide, please. Our mission, well, we all have a joint mission here, but our part of the mission is simple and clear. Care for climate and environment by offering advice and solution to mitigate climate change. This year's theme for World Meteorological Day is at the front line of climate action. This theme highlights urgent need for action against climate change and potentially catastrophic consequences. Our strategy is in line with the WMO mission by extending our measurements to actionable insights. So finally, we also aim for strong cooperation and partnerships, public-private partnerships or public-private engagement in whatever form. And we reach out to meteorological institutes. We want to share knowledge, supporting execution, operation, and long-term maintenance of the integrated weather observation networks. Next slide, please. Well, our vision in a short survey, it is from measurement to insight. And the important task is to optimize crucial basic measurements from the sensor level to the data logger, the weather station, integrated observations network, including modular forecasting tools, and provide services and support for the long term. Again, preferably in partnership with our customers. So here you see the sensors, the edge device, and the software solutions from left to right, covering our measurement to insight capabilities. Next slide, please. From measurements to insight, we jump to our Campbell NEO capability. NEO is a meteorological visualization tool, modular tool, which is developed by our office in France. And our office in France offers a wide suite of customized meteorological visualization solutions to meteorological services and other entities. Next slide, please. We offer the integrated weather observing system with early warning functionality. So Campbell Scientific with NEO and with its own sensor and observation solutions as a basis, we design and build flood forecasting and early warning system. Part of this capability is the NEO all-in-web platform for hydrometeorology and the Flood Pro series, which is a family of Campbell flood warning sensors and products to support the flood alert systems. So our NEO all-in-web platform for the decision-making process provides all the data collection, its visualization, forecasting, insight, alert, as well as early warning. Next slide, please. Here is an example of the NEO solution in practice. So it is how NEO works by integrating and ingesting data from many different sources, including sensors, weather stations, satellites, weather radar, wind profilers, lightning, hydromet applications, etc. All these data are processed and visualized for forecasting and insight for alerts and early warning systems for NEO's different users, as shown on the right side of this slide. And that provides in the end insight, alerts, and early warning capability in a timely manner. Next slide, please. So here is a screenshot of NEO's all-in-web platform for hydromet decision-making. This is only 2 examples at a glance. For the sake of time, we limited the slides. Further information is available from our colleagues on site during the HydrometAFRICA. Apart from that, note that we also offer you informative Teams sessions, demos, and on-site meetings, and we are gladly prepared to visit you for more detailed technical information exchange about NEO and our other capabilities to support you. The next slide, please. So here I have a case example we briefly want to highlight. It is the Jordan and the Palestine integrated flood early warning system. Well, international studies were conducted in the Jordan and Palestine region, and flood forecasting and warning are essential to reduce vulnerability of population and the economic effects. So to address these issues and cope with the climate challenges, Expertise France, the French International Technical Cooperation Agency, engineered this project in line with Sustainable Development Goals. Campbell Scientific executed this project, combining its expertise in both the areas of measurement, observation, forecasting, and visualization. And this is a case of an end-to-end turnkey solution which we have installed in that area. Next slide, please. And this is another case, the new Meteorological Observations Network in partnership with the Dutch Meteorological Institute. KNMI is a renowned meteorological institute, and Campbell was chosen to modernize the Dutch Meteorological Measurement Network in a 10-year partnership. And here all data are going into the cloud. And this is offered through Campbell Cloud. It took a while before KNMI decided to do this in this way, hosting in the cloud, but this has become a standard for them in the Netherlands. The next slide, please. So now we jump to Africa, and we are actively involved, as I said, in WMO, the SOFT, the RBON, and the GBON developments. If you have a quick look at the subtitle with this link, the link will show you a survey of the actual state of GBON compliance per country, both for surface stations and for upper air. It is a real nice one to have a look at if you have some time. And it will show you the actual state of the GBON compliance stations. Next slide, please. So we have chosen a couple of projects we are handling in Africa, and Campbell Scientific Africa, with its 2 offices, is serving its customers throughout the entire African continent for more than 25 years. We have listed some projects. I'm not going into detail about these, but I want to highlight two of them, and that is Zambia and Malawi. The following slide, please. We jump into the Malawi Met Services case study. I will not read all the text as it is a lot for you, but I can be brief about this. Our weather station solutions are all GBON compliant and they successfully operate WIS2. As part of capacity building, we deploy this network of GBON compliant weather stations in Malawi. And that is done in great partnership with the Malawi Meteorological Service team. Dual data transmission takes place to the Met Service servers and also directly to the WMO through the WIS2 nodes. We also work with the Zambia Meteorological Department, and data are sent from the station via MQTT protocol from the data logger to WIS2. And all these activities are in line with the GBON requirements. Next slide, please. So as a final slide, we have some suggestions for sustainable observation networks. And these suggestions are based on pure field experience, considering individual country-specific challenges. And here are some suggestions to specify open architecture solutions in terms of data loggers, sensors, and data management to improve interoperability. Lifecycle ownership should be factored into the procurement planning to ensure network lifecycle of 15 or more years. And network and station designs to emphasize ease of maintenance and calibration. We also face country-specific challenges, and all our industry partners are facing the same issues with road infrastructure, electricity, power, cellular connectivity, internet issues. So these I leave for you to further read. And of course, we have a continuous focus on training and capacity building. And last but not least, the weather service itself must also be able to adequately alert public to, for example, extreme events. The Met Service is doing the frontline job of alerting people by disseminating the information and the reach of the warnings. We can supply perfect solutions, we can supply beautiful systems, but the joint mission of us, our industry partners, and the meteorological services and our customers should be that the Met Service, being in the front line, must be enabled to do its job properly. And I'm not only speaking about Africa, we have the same issues in Europe, in some countries as well, including the Netherlands. So here my presentation ends today. Well, our experts, Director Mr. Johan Visagi, Mr. Kobane Kivil, and Ms. Celeste Klein are all present at the event this week. So please go and see them to address any questions you may have. I hope you found the presentation interesting, and I thank you for your time and your kind attention. And that was it.
Thank you very much, Alessandra. We have our next two presentations.
Might have used that mic.
Oh,
Let's
yes,
do
you
that.
wanted to like, didn't you? There should be one just over there along the table.
Thought you were leaving, Tom.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you. Don't
I
worry.
think your other mic is there, or you can use that one at the. No, one of you will have to use that one then. No links.
Good morning, I think. And thank you for joining. Thanks for having us with you. We're coming from Africa Weather and DTN. My name is Ryan and this is Tom. And the question is, how many more people have to die? And that might sound a little bit dramatic, but it really isn't. A lot of people today have spoken about statistics, and the statistics in South Africa, on average, about 350 people die through direct lightning strikes that we know about. There's a stigma attached to being struck by lightning in South Africa anyway, because often you don't want to talk about it. Maybe you're cursed as a family, maybe there's a reason that you've got a problem, right? But it doesn't only affect you and me. It affects sports stars. It affects people in villages. Workers, construction workers, miners. It affects real people, you and me, right? And what's important is that we need to do something about it. So the agenda that we have, and just to introduce Tom and myself. So Africa Weather is a South African 50% Black woman-owned company, resident in South Africa. We're just down the road in Woodmead. We are African. In Woodmead, sorry. We have a major, well, a partly owned by DTN, and over to Tom, DTN being probably one of the largest privately owned weather information system companies in the world.
Thank you, Ryan. Next slide, please. So yeah, I'll give you a brief introduction of DTN shortly. So my name's Tom Smith, I'm the General Manager of the Weather Systems Division. So that's everything focused on weather observation. DTN, next slide if you can, is a global technology company. As well as being a global technology company, we're the largest privately owned weather company in the world. As you can see on the slide, we are a very global organization, head offices in the US, also regional offices in Europe, Utrecht, in Sydney, Australia, and down here in Johannesburg in South Africa. You can see some of the logos on this slide, some of the acquisitions we've made in recent years to bring together this portfolio of global organizations. So DTN, Weather Decision Technology, is also based in the US, Medio Group, the largest private weather company in Europe, Weather Zone, again, the largest private weather company in Oceania, Telvent, who some of you may have those systems in your airports or around your countries today. And last but certainly not least, Africa Weather down here. So we've got over 1,200 colleagues at DTN. We operate and serve customers in over 120 countries. Next slide, please. So if we look at the private sector, where most of DTN's focus is today, we work in agriculture, we work in refined fuels, but what we really do is we provide weather intelligence for risk mitigation to the private sector. So aviation, mining, offshore, renewable energy, the list goes on. We provide services around the globe to the largest companies you will see. Helps if I turn it on. Next click, please. So I won't go into too much detail on this. We provide 24/7 services. We've been in operation for over 40 years. We're one of the most accurate forecasters in the world. I won't say that we are. That depends on the situation, obviously. This is what we do in the private sector. More in my part of the business on the next slide is what we do with the public sector. So again, we've been in operation for over, next slide please, over 40 years. We provide aviation weather systems, AWOS, LWOS, ADIS, weather data management. This is a real differentiator that we have. We don't tend to manufacture sensors. We're not going to try and sell you a radar, an AWS, or a lightning detection system. We're focused on the data. At the end of the day, we own the sensors to provide that data. So we provide weather data management. We're completely sensor agnostic. With any sensor manufacturer, we can integrate that data. We can help you manage it. Environmental monitoring, again, we have deep experience in Europe maintaining and deploying observation networks for reference, also for specific industry use cases. Automatic weather stations, revenue shared partnerships that you'll hear a little bit more about later, and remote detection, so from weather radar, lightning network, the full system. Next slide, please. So yeah, just briefly, wanted to touch on the hydromet value chain. I think you've seen with the examples I've talked about in the private sector and the public sector, DTN operates across the full hydromet value chain. Next slide, please, Katie. As you can see, this image is taken from a WMO example. You'll see various iterations of this depending on the international organization. I just want to see what can the private sector do to help. So engagement. This is the start, this is the ongoing, and this is how it continues. Engagement is key to everything we're going to do together. In the private sector, B2B, it's a lot easier to do that. With the B2G world, it does take a bit more complexity, but as again, engagement is key. During our experience, over 200 meteorologists around the world providing services to some of the largest companies. areas of strength, and as I said, developing projects together, doing this, from getting the funding, the implementation, how we're going to roll it out, but very importantly, how we're going to manage it. It's not just about putting hardware out in the field, it's about getting the value from that. We'll give you some examples now of how we've been doing that. So over to you, Ryan.
Thank you very much. So what's different? What's different between what Africa Weather, together with DTN do, compared to what a lot of you have heard today? So there's an upstream and a downstream. Upstream tends to be sensors and collection. So from an Africa Weather point of view, together with DTN's help, we have lightning networks, we have access to radar data, we have synthetic radar data, we have weather stations, and fundamentally we have a partnership network to enable the collection of data. But that doesn't make us different. What makes us different is it affects all the people in Africa. So, you wouldn't mind going to the next slide? You would have noticed a partnership there with SOARS, South African Weather Service. And we have signed. So how do we get to that last mile, right? How do we get to the downstream? We already have over 120 customers in mind. We have sports and schools that we help protect. We have insurance companies. If you get a hail alert, that would SOARS' help that comes from us. Move vehicles out the way, protect assets. That's actionable insight that's coming from the collected weather data that we pull together. If you remember the next one. So high-level solutions, alerting. And we've got a number of different channels when it comes to telecommunication, comes to portals, even if it's through media, where the channels of sorts, we're putting that together. The lightning reporting, we have a forecast, a nowcast, and a postcast. So forecast, we've got a handful of Met guys working out what's going to happen with the storm together with the data that's coming in. We have nowcast, move your car, hurry up, save something, save a life. Kids, cricket game's finished, please move on. And then we've got postcast. There's lots of analysis going on afterwards. What did we do correctly on the financial services side? What could we have done better? How many lightning strikes are there? In mining, you lose a life in a mine and you close the mine down for 3 months. So how does that affect the bottom line? Next slide, please. So we're going to fly through 2 of the case studies on Tom's side and on the end of the last.
Yeah. So just briefly here, so we've touched already on the experience the DTN has globally, along with Africa Weather. Here, one of the examples we've had working with 6 different Met services in Central America, deployed a regional lightning network. So you can imagine how much more efficient it is for regional collaboration on the deployment, whether it's lightning networks, radar networks. As we know, weather does not know any boundaries. So the collaboration here, it's helped get a more efficient, more cost-effective system deployed for various countries that didn't have a network today. And after that, we're still supporting them now, I think 6 years on since deployment, still going well, and talking to several other countries about integrating into this network, a concept we would love to replicate here. Next slide, please. So here are a couple of examples of what we do in Australia. So firstly, with the Bureau of Meteorology, back in, I believe, 2014, we deployed a national lightning network, total lightning network. We own and operate that, provide the data to the Bureau of Meteorology. So it's a real public-private partnership. On the back of that, we are, since I think 2016, we've been operating and managing an early warning service for the Brisbane City Council. So it's the largest residential population in Australia, over 2.5 million people. We manage the observation data, we manage the forecasting. Most importantly, we manage the alerting. So getting that message is great to have good forecast, really important. If you don't get that message out, it's the last mile, it's worthless. So again, some of our experience that we can do, and then I'll let Ryan talk about our excellent and long collaboration with SOARS.
So SOARS. Now, being African, we all have problems, right? The major problem is fundamentally funding. So how do we get around funding? So what we've done with SOARS over the last 14 years is we have a revenue share model. So on the lightning and other forms of dangerous weather, we will use SOARS' data where we can, and we'll combine that with the data that we have. We will then, being the last mile, we'll go to the corporates, and whether they're mines, insurance companies, or schools, we'll sell that on to them. And a percentage of that revenue will go back to the Met Service. So I think that's quite unique. I know everybody's looking for funding. I know government funding in this country is on a steady trajectory in the wrong direction, right? But how are we going to save the lives if that's how it's working? So it's really important to us to maintain this relationship. And I feel we've got quite a strong relationship with SAWS, and I believe we could have a strong relationship with other Mets around Africa. We're in Ghana, we're in Zambia, we're in Namibia, and we're trying to grow closer to where you live. So I think if we, up to the next one, to help us to help you, right? The differentiator here, number one, is we partner. We partner with providers on the upstream side. We partner with government agencies. We partner with corporate organizations, all with a single purpose in mind: saving lives and optimizing and helping with efficiency within business. Investment. We've made an investment locally, and we can help you with this too. We're not saying we will provide you with a product. We purchase lightning sensors. We install them, we maintain them, and then we help save lives and share that information with the last mile together with you as a stakeholder. And finally, improve. So we're on a massive drive, and this is my call to action in a slightly different way. There have been so many presentations today with people, very sophisticated, bright people, are showing us the same information from a different picture. Why can't we join our information together? Why can't we share? Because if our purpose is to save a life, then why don't we do it together? So what more can we do? And that's the question to you. So we are going to be around on the other side. Please come say hi, and look forward to partnering going forward. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And we have one last session before you guys can go and grab some food. And that is Pessl. Do we have them in the room? Here we go. Gabriel.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am really happy to be here to represent Pessl. We are a hydromet company based in Austria, and I am an African. I think I've heard this over and over again, and we should be proud as Africans and what we can do also to make the world better. I have grown here in Africa, and I have experienced extreme weather conditions and challenges as a result of climate change. From flooding, where most people become homeless, drought on agricultural conditions. So working at Pessl is, to me, an eye-opening for what we have at Pessl, the solutions we have, which could help the African continent, because we are at the receiving end of most of these climate conditions and challenges. And the last speaker said something which is very important, because we are all here to save lives. And if this is what we all aim to achieve, why don't we all come together and help make a change that is impacting so much and affecting lives and properties in Africa? So at Pessl, we provide these high-tech or high-end meteorological devices to mitigate some of these challenges we have in Africa as a result of climate change, be it from flood, drought, and other agricultural conditions. And metals has been in the system for a very long time. We have these 40 years of experience. And we are global. Global means we have our footprint on all the 6 continents of the globe. And we have a lot of success stories as well. So we have our headquarters in White, which is in Austria. And we also have affiliates and subsidiaries around the globe. So we are present in all of Europe and also in the Middle East. We are in Egypt, Iran, Israel, and the rest of these Middle East countries like Palestine, Saudi Arabia, and Syria. We also have our presence also in Syria, in Asia, North America, Central America, and also in Africa. So we are present in Africa, in Ethiopia, Ivory Coast, Kenya, and we also have a strong presence here in South Africa. Now, at Pessl, these weather stations which we provide, we have 2 solutions. So we have the hardware part, and then we have the software and application part, which we'll come to later. So we have these high-end devices. So we have different range of devices. So we have these high-end devices for automated weather stations, which measure real-time data, because it's very important to have this information. And when we say knowledge is power, having the information that is at the right time, the right information can help to take the right steps and actions to fight the climate change challenge we have. So we have stations for water management. We know water is a scarce resource, and to be able to manage water properly will help as well. Then we also have water levels and dynamic flood hazard index. We'll come to it later because we have a university here in South Africa that has used machine learning algorithms to develop some of these hazard tools to look at specific areas that are really flood prone, to concentrate on those areas and take certain actions to help fight some of these flood situations which we have in Africa. So we have this range of weather stations. We have these high-end weather stations. We have also weather stations to monitor soil. So we have soil moisture, the temperature of the soil, and also the salinity. And then we have these rainfall stations also, which we install at the catchment areas where we, with the help of this flood index, know that these areas are really prone to flood, so we can have these stations there. And then we have these ultrasonic water level stations as well that can be installed in rivers, waterways, also to measure the levels when these water levels are rising, to be able to make the necessary actions as well. And these informations are provided in real time. So at Pessl, we have this holistic approach. We have data coming in at real time, and the clients, they have these options also as well to be able to configure these stations remotely, as in when you want your data to come in, and then take the necessary actions. And this leads us to the software solution and the app. So we have this Fit Climate system. It's a cloud-based ecosystem where you receive this real-time data for data and other statistical analysis. We have notifications and alarms, which the user can set all these things remotely. You can get these notifications and alarms via your mobile devices, desktop applications, and other data receiving devices as well. So we also provide weather forecasting and monitoring as well. And then we also have disease and insect modeling, work planning tools. So with the data, the weather data, and this forecasting data, we'll be able to make certain planning to be able to save money and equipment that you're moving in. And then we have other services from this software-based application like API services, and then third-party data import. So with our cloud-based system, we can be able to add on to other providers or other partners here. There are stations and sensors we can be able to add on and embed them into our cloud-based system and receive all this data in real time. Now we are having this project in South Africa. It's the HydrometAFRICA project where we have 500 weather stations installed in the Western Cape region to monitor drought and flood. So we could see from this graph some of the temperature levels, those in red. And this is, we'll come to the goals of this project and see how we are helping to make an impact, a positive impact as well, to solve some of these issues. Yeah, so I just received the signal, so I will really be fast with my presentation because we have spent much time already. And in case I'm not able to go through the whole presentation, I'll encourage all of you to visit us at our booth so that we can be able to have a detailed discussion and see what we can do. We are not here to say we are helping Africans, but we are helping each other. Because like I said, I'm also an African. And the solutions we are providing are what we need to help all of us. So this risk mitigation, these are things we know, like in agriculture, which is a highly risky sector with a lot of pests and diseases and fluctuation in prices and all that. And so with all these challenges, and if you look at the trend of climate change and how things are going, we have this solution to help each of us to be able to tackle this issue of climate change. And like I said earlier, we can receive real life data in real time to make these decisions and react promptly. So from the HydrometAFRICA project, which we installed these 500 stations, these are the goals of the project. We have to improve the existing weather station network in the Western Cape and provide early warning on adverse weather events, which include droughts and flood. And then also to assist farmers and producers with identifying the disease and insect risks of the crop. And then we have these push reports and notifications as well. That's for emergency agencies to take the right action and step at the right time to be able to curtail some of these dangers of climate change, which are claiming a lot of lives and properties on the African continent. And then also the creation of dynamic climate hazard model. This, I talk about it briefly. Also that we have here, through a machine learning algorithm, this hazard model developed by a South African university to be able to locate flood-prone areas and take the necessary measures and action. So if you are able to locate these areas, it means we can concentrate on those areas with our weather stations to be able to measure these data in real time and also to be able to act promptly to be able to tackle some of these challenges. Now, so in all, I'm just coming to the close of my presentation, and in all, we have this holistic approach. So I talk about this cloud-based ecosystem where we have the physical hardware devices measuring data at real time. So if you come to our booth, we'll be able to demonstrate you some of this real data. You'll be able to control these devices remotely with various configurations, as in when you expect the data to come in, and then you receive this data on this fifth climate cloud ecosystem. And you could also be able to set alerts and push notifications depending on which thresholds you are looking at, whether you are talking about the various water levels or temperature rising levels and all that. And you'll be able to receive these in real time. And then take the necessary actions as well with other emergency agencies. So we have also for frost monitoring, disease models we have. And the stations measure all these data and then push to our fish climate system. And like I said, you can be able to access all the data at the comfort of your office, wherever you are. We've also push notifications as well. So we have these user interfaces like the Feed Climate app, which is a mobile application. You'll be able to see every live data coming in, and then this API services we also provide. So if you want to have the data wherever you want with our API services, you can be able to create your own platform to receive all this data in real time. So I think we have had a long day. I don't spend a lot of your time. I'm encouraging all of you to come to our booth, and we are ready to provide more detailed information on what we do, and also to the various partners. Also, we are extending our hands to each and every one because, like I said, it's not a competition, but working together to save lives and properties. Thank you very much.